Good morning. Welcome to day 11 of our New Year challenge. If you've participated in challenges in the past, you know that we typically only go for 7 or 10 days, but this is the only time of the year that we go with a 30-day challenge. And for me, I'm definitely, I was feeling that natural rhythm of like, oh yeah, we should be like wrapping up now. Like I'm kind of feeling done writing these emails and recording these videos every day. And that's good. That's a good thing for me to push through every once in a while, to extend my practice, to do a challenge for 30 days, not just 10, because that's how I grow, right? You don't grow when it's comfortable. You grow when there's some discomfort, when there's a little bit of resistance. So we're talking about mindfulness this week. We're talking about what it looks like as our meditation practice comes off the cushion and starts to shape our daily life. So we're going to talk about mindful walking today, one of my favorite mindfulness exercises. But let's start with our 3 minutes of meditation. So if you missed our first talk on a mindfulness practice, mindfulness exercise in motion on day 9, great to go back and explore that, or I'll try to recap it pretty quickly here. When we're engaged in what we're calling mindfulness exercises here, we're going to work with our mind in the same way that we did last week when we were practicing Zazen, seated meditation. But now, instead of using the breath as our anchor, where we recognize thoughts, we release thoughts by returning to the experience of the breath, and we repeat that over and over. Instead of returning to the breath, we're going to return to whatever this action is that's on hand. So just like with our meditation practice, we're going to start with being mindful of simple things, right? We do seated meditation when we first learn to meditate because we're eliminating distractions so we can see our mind clearly, right? So now we're going to be introducing distractions into our life by being in motion, right? So we started with brushing our teeth. We took a little bit of a diversion yesterday and talked about stressful situations that sort of probably would have fit better with next week's lessons when we talk about happiness and forgiveness and minimalism. But today we're going to focus on my favorite mindfulness exercise, mindfully walking. You know, my inspiration for most of this week is this wonderful D.T. Suzuki quote. D.T. Suzuki was a Japanese scholar. He was a Zen Buddhist. I believe he was a monk first half of his life before he came to the States. He came to the States in the first half of the 20th century, and he really introduced Zen Buddhism to the United States. There's a little bit of a mix. I don't want to go off on a rant here, but he was an academic, and he was working in university settings, which is part of why I think sometimes we have this context that Zen practice has this very heady and intellectual feel to it. Yet D.T. Suzuki, and one of my favorite quotes of him is he says that Zen is grabbing a hold of life with both hands and no gloves, right? Zen is grabbing a hold of life with both hands and no gloves. Think about what that means. There's like an immediacy there, right? There's something tactile. There's an intimacy with the moment when we grab onto life with no gloves, right? There's no separation. Right. So our walking meditation is a practice of being completely centered in our body, feeling the experience of that motion, but simultaneously also requires being aware of our surroundings, right? So brushing our teeth was easy. It was kind of like our meditation practice. We're just focused right here. When we're mindfully walking, it's a good next step in these mindfulness exercises because we're now in motion, feeling more of our body and that sensation, and have to be generally aware of what's in front of us, right? And so we use this feel, these perceptions and sensations that come in as the anchor for our practice. So if you ever go on a meditation retreat and you're sitting for long periods of time, most retreat centers will break up periods of meditation with walking meditation. You can walk with your hands down by your side. You can sort of a very traditional making a fist and cupping the right hand over it, sort of placing it around your belly, your lower abdomen, wherever it's comfortable. Generally find it's easier not to have my arms swinging around. When I'm doing this in public, I tend to walk. I just lock my hands behind the small of my back. I think this walking around like this looks a little funny in public. So when I do my little 5 or 10 minutes of mindful walking in the middle of my workday, instead of a coffee break at 2 o'clock, I try to take a little walk for fresh air. I just simply put my hands behind my back. I do choose to walk a little bit slower. I find it easier to kind of immerse myself in the experience, but there's no reason it has to be. I listen to a lot of my friends who are runners, and they talk about the experience of running in the way that I would talk about the experience of meditating, and they're moving pretty quickly. So I don't think there's any requirement that you hit a certain speed for this exercise. But give walking meditation a try. If you are sitting for longer than 5 minutes in your practice, if you sit for 10 or 15 or 20 minutes, and you find that you regularly get discomfort or your legs fall asleep, you can even break up a 20-minute meditation. You can set your timer to ding at 9 minutes, and you could do 2 minutes of walking meditation and then sit back down for another 9 minutes. And if you're really very intentional about where you place your attention, you won't lose as much of that focus and stillness that you've developed. So, you know, walking meditation, it is going to be more challenging than seated meditation, right? There are more distractions. It is going to be easier to run away from being present. So we're just going to return to the experience of walking over and over again. It's that fourth R. We're going to keep repeating this. So good luck. It's actually going to be a beautiful day here. You can see the sun's not really great for the video, I guess. My face is a little dark in the bright light in, but it's morning and it's gorgeous here in Scranton, Pennsylvania. The snow is melting. I think it's going to be in the 50s today here. So I'm definitely going to get a little mindful walking in today. Hope you do too. Have a great day, friends.